Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Hunter Munn, and this is more of American Truck Simulator, and also TYT. I believe the news will be from August the 16th, 2022. If you've been watching the playlist, it is the day before the last thing I watched. There's nobody really up at this time of night watching the stream, so there's not really anybody to interact with. But if chat shows up, then I will talk to them. Otherwise, I just need something going on, and I can't think of anything to say. But you guys keep wanting to see more American Truck Simulator, so you're gonna have to let me know if you don't want it with the news stuff, because it works for me for being able to take in my news and also being able to make progress in American Truck Simulator. And I feel like I'm more or less focusing on the game a little bit better. Um, so we'll see how it goes. Click on the play button. And back at it. Oh, wait, I need to rebalance things maybe? I won't know until somebody starts talking, but I think it's a little... Let's see. Come on, skip ahead.
Young Turks, okay? All right, I need you to be welcome to the Young Turks, okay? And I'm the one welcoming you, so mission accomplished. What's up, Casperino?
I'm doing really well.
Weirdly weird. All right.
There you go.
Jank is back.
I like
Or not back. I
Casperino.
mean, because
I
we're
like
watching these out of order.
Casperella, As Eclectic Miscellanea came up with.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Casper the Friendly Host.
That's me from a long time ago. That's me from a long time
Lots
ago.
of great nicknames.
Okay, I'm not saying
We
anything.
have the best nicknames.
Oh, hey, let's get ourselves a new garage.
Believe me, the best.
If anybody was present on chat, I'd ask them where they want me to get it, but nobody's around, so...
I came up with one yesterday off air. Because of the lighting.
Let's get the one that's like across the street.
Like her hair was
We stopped here. It's a nice place.
For Everdeen.
Oh.
Think about it. Think
69,959.
On fire. So forward.
Nice.
All right. Well, we begin.
There's nobody
with,
putting it right now.
Joe Biden embarrassing us again, and
Oh, again?
being complimentary to terrible people. So let's talk about it. President Joe Biden has officially signed the so-called Inflation Reduction Act into law. This is the legislation that, of course, included the massive handouts to fossil fuel companies and provided some funding to respond to the climate emergency. Everyone's been celebrating it because it's the most funding Congress has ever allocated to respond to climate change. But I do want to remind you that that's an incredibly low bar, since this country has been pretty abysmal in regard to responding to climate change appropriately.
Right.
Now, what really stood out about this signing ceremony was Biden doing a kind gesture for the very person who derailed his entire agenda. Let's watch.
Mansion or cinema?
Get ready to turn right.
So, for those of you who might be listening to the audio version of the program,
Or have it very, very
gave
tiny
the
on screen.
sign that he used to sign the Inflation Reduction Act to conservative Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who made sure that there were all these little goodies in the bill for fossil fuel companies, while also simultaneously stripping the bill of most social spending programs that would actually materially benefit ordinary people's lives. He got a kind gesture in response to that, and he was asked about that kind gesture. Let's see what he had to say.
Probably didn't care.
What's your response to President Biden giving you the pen that he signed the bill with?
That was a nice gesture. Very nice gesture.
That's it?
I hate all these people. That's really the only takeaway here. And it's not just out of nowhere. It's because of what Manchin succeeded in, which is basically doing away with the possibility of paid family leave, doing away with the possibility of universal pre-K, doing away with assistance so parents can afford childcare, especially women who want to go back to work.
It's a nice view.
Took that away. did away with the child tax credit, which Biden alleged to want to make permanent, did away with free community and public colleges. I mean, but you know, it's a kind gesture. And look, I think Biden, Cenk, is doing exactly what he wants to do. He's thanking Manchin because Manchin did exactly what Biden wanted him to do.
100% right. So a bunch of things out of that short little video. First of all, that's a nice murderer's row of corporate Democrats.
100%.
The people that have been destroying this country for a long time and enabling the right wing to rise up as they have. So Clyburn's among the worst, Schumer's a total fraud, you know, Manchin, you know, Biden. And Anna's right, throughout their careers, Manchin and Biden have almost never disagreed. So this has all been kabuki theater from the get-go. So when we told you that Joe Biden was going to
Careful,
go on
guys.
of his agenda, we got a wall of you know, disbelief and hate from Washington, both in terms of the political figures, but also the media. Oh, how dare you? He's going to be FDR 2.0. Now, fast forward to today, and he's done almost 5% of it, and he didn't do 95%. Actually, it's worse than we imagined. We thought he would pass voting rights, or at least half of voting rights. I thought that there was a fighter's chance that we fought super hard on $15 minimum wage, but nobody fought on that. It turns out we didn't get that. So a lot of the bare minimum we didn't get at all. And so now when we turn around and say we were right, all of Washington has now moved to a new alternate reality. The alternate reality is Biden delivered. Biden delivered his entire, almost his entire agenda.
No.
Well, that's just a lie. It's totally unsupported by the facts. Look, Anna already gave you a lot of examples, things that were total and utter layups, like paid family leave, which is like 84% popularity in the country, including 74% of Republicans. I mean, layups. The only people who oppose it are donor class to Joe
Nobody be
Biden's
turning.
convention
Nobody
and
be
the
turning.
Republican Party. So now, but I'm going to just
Oh,
give one
that's
example.
gonna be a red light.
Lowering drug prices, massively popular. The most popular thing in the bill. Everybody wants to lower drug prices.
No, but they got that right,
Oh,
Cenk.
yeah, and now in the entire...
Hey, thanks for getting out of my way.
media and every Democrat in Washington is lying through their teeth, telling you that they got some portion of that and you should be happy with what they got. No, that portion is 100% true. It's lowering drug prices on 10 drugs out of thousands and thousands and thousands. 10 drugs. Wait,
Right.
in the year 2026.
Yes, beginning in
Okay.
2026.
Beginning in 2026.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That is saying we're going to lock in not lowering drug prices until 2026, and then we're going to lock in another 10 years where we only lower drug prices on 10 freaking drugs. It's a goddamn joke. It's meant to deceive you into thinking that they took action when they did the exact opposite. They locked in high drug prices for decades. That's the kind of game that Joe Biden plays all the time and corporate media covers for him. So I don't care about the people who are just as deluded as MAGA. Those are the Democratic establishment ass kissers.
Yep.
So those guys are in a completely different world, detached from reality, where Joe Biden delivered. Oh, you guys aren't happy. Oh, nothing's ever going to make you
Go
happy.
straight on.
What do you mean we're going to lower drug prices in 5 years on 10 drugs? Maybe, kind of. You guys are a joke. Go kiss his ass. Go kiss Manchin's ass. I don't care. There was crumbs that Biden passed, like in terms of solar energy
Dreamburger.
and renewable energy in that bill. There's crumbs that were passed in a couple of different bills, but almost all of them were wrapped in a giant lard of corporate pork.
Yes.
You hand it over to the solar energy companies, but then you also have to hand it off to the fossil fuel energy companies. Lard, and a little kernel for you. And then you send the alternate reality zombies out there to go, it is historic, it is the best thing we could have ever gotten. Joe Biden did his agenda. And then you see that feeble man go, and offer that pen to Manchin, which was almost out of Planet of the Apes.
Listen, if Biden fought like hell for his own agenda, and we saw that fight, and he just couldn't get Manchin to play ball, my commentary would be different in that I wouldn't be as critical toward Biden. But Biden handing Manchin the pen the way he did is just another example of how he refused to apply any pressure to Manchin or Sinema. Nothing but carrots, nothing but complimentary commentary during his press interviews and his public appearances. There was never any hardball by the president to ensure that more of his agenda actually came to pass. And that's the reason why I'm frustrated, because one can't help but think that Biden didn't really want these things. That Biden loved the fact that there were convenient excuses both baked into the system and also within the Democratic Party to essentially put a stop to what he purported to be in favor of. Because I've seen and I have read about previous presidents fighting for their agenda and succeeding despite all odds, including LBJ, getting a Civil Rights Act passed, even when members of his own party were against it. He did everything he could because he actually wanted to pass it. And guess what? He succeeded. We didn't see that fight from Biden. And look, I've talked about this a billion times because the only good thing that we've seen in this Inflation Reduction Act, which is honestly just the name by itself is laughable. This is not an Inflation Reduction Act.
There's nothing new with it.
But nonetheless, okay, the part that even some progressives have been celebrating is the money that will be allocated to responding to climate change. Except there's a massive catch. We've talked about that catch, and it has to do with allowing for fossil fuel companies to rake in more money, to do more drilling. And here's the example. Here's the CEO of Valero, a fossil fuel company, okay? The legislation whose scope and ambitions were dictated by fossil fuel industry ally Senator Joe Manchin includes components, quote, that are helpful to our business. Rich Walsh of Valero said during the fossil fuel giant's earnings call on Thursday, this is an older quote, but yeah, so that's what he said in response to it. And the bill, if passed, and it did pass,
Okay.
it's not signed today, would tie wind and solar development to oil and gas lease sales. That language is expected to undermine the Biden administration's plans to expand renewable energy on federal lands and waters, as well as greatly complicate plans to draw down oil and gas production that contributes directly
Can I
to
just
climate
travel through Cheyenne?
change and the climate crisis.
Thought I was taking a different
And
route
I mean,
north.
the list goes on and on, okay? So the proposed legislation would block the Interior Department from issuing any wind and solar development rights of way unless it first holds oil and gas lease sales. Onshore, the department would have to offer 2 million acres of federal land for lease annually, or half of all the land nominated for leasing, and hold a lease sale within 120 days of issuing any renewables right of way.
Can't seem to speed
Come on,
up.
guys.
Yeah. Later, when they
Keep
write an
left.
article a couple years from now saying, well, it's weird, they couldn't do any of the solar energy and the renewable energy stuff in there because it turns out in the bill you have to actually lease federal land for fossil fuels first. And they'll pretend like no one could have seen it coming.
No one could have seen it coming.
And the Hal Sparks of the world and Democratic ass kissers will be like, nobody, oh, that is an unexpected twist. So instead of getting 5%, we got 0%. And corporations, instead of getting 99%, got 112%. What an unexpected twist in Washington. So look, guys, I mentioned Planet of the Apes, and if you've seen it, or if you just watch normal documentaries, you see apes do this. They put out their hand like this to an alpha ape. And humans are in the ape family. And that was Biden, like, the mansion. If someone took 95% of my agenda and flushed it down the toilet, I wouldn't be going to them. I would brush up against them at the signing ceremony if I allowed them there in the first place. Okay, but instead Biden is thrilled to get that 5% because he was never going to fight for it. He never believed in it. I don't care what alternate reality you live in. There are facts about the legislation. There are facts about the policies.
I wonder what Joe Biden
never
thinks
wanted
of
any
himself.
it. And so he's thrilled with the
Considering
corporate
how
garbage that he has passed in his term.
much
and
trash
that's
he
just
is as a
Finally,
president.
last word goes to one of our members. We love doing the show with you guys.
Like, he's not trying to do anything, so what did he... Does he really think he'll get reelected to do
That's
more
right.
nothing?
That is a fair point.
Excellent point.
It's Manchin's pen. It's Manchin's presidency. And you see the beta male handing it to him right in front of your eyes.
It's so sad. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Republicans now,
Keep
because
left.
Rudy Giuliani is in a world of pain, and his Trump cronies might actually throw him under the bus. So
Love it.
let's discuss.
Why did those guys come to a stop on the exit only?
Tell us what this means, that Giuliani has now been named as a target of this
left.
investigation. What is he now facing? He may be facing a midnight train to Georgia, to quote lyrics from Gladys Knight and the Fifths. Look, he's jammed up.
I don't know what that
here.
means.
Being named a target, your lawyer being told, hey, your client's a target, it's really bad. It means that the grand jury and the prosecutors are thinking, yeah, we're about to charge you. It's imminent.
You heard that correctly. Rudy Giuliani's attempts to assist Donald Trump in overturning the results of the 2020 presidential election is finally catching up with him, and he has been named the target of Georgia's investigation of their criminal probe into what Giuliani was doing in the lead up to January 6th, including
Nice.
pushing for
Fuck
this
that guy.
phony slate of electors that would essentially
right
cast
and then
the
turn
vote
right.
for Trump as opposed to Biden, even though Biden had won the election. Now, Georgia DA Fannie
Turn
Willis
right.
has suggested her investigation
Chocobo Dreams.
might
1 second.
result
I'm
in
taking a turn.
changes that include
I don't want to
charges
keep
that include
hearing that
racketeering,
people are
conspiracy,
being targeted. I
effectively
want to see
a
actual
coordinated effort to
results.
fraudulently
Oh, you mean about the
overturn
new
election,
stuff?
and Giuliani could
Yeah,
also
yeah,
be
yeah.
vulnerable to
Well,
charges of making
that's
false
kind of the
statements
point they're
in
making
those
right now.
hearings. So,
Is that
what we've learned in recent
if he's going to be charged with something, it's going to be imminent, and I'm like, we'll see. And TYT will tend to lay that out. They're not your usual corporate media. They're very much not corporate media. But yeah, I kind of come down on the standpoint of like it doesn't really matter because like we impeached the last president twice and we didn't even impeach him over the stuff that he definitely really should have been gotten for criminal stuff. So, but welcome to the party this morning, Chocobo. Did you discover last time whether you had or hadn't voted in the current poll for what games I'll be playing next month?
Beyond that, there's the possibility that Giuliani could be held liable.
1 second, I got a curve.
Statements in those hearings. Across many hours, Giuliani
You
offered a
ask,
litany of bogus
wasn't Rudy
claims,
getting sued by that
including
one company
some
for
which have
defamation?
already been debunked, and you might
I
think,
think
"Oh,
that
tons."
I think that
We
got
debunked them in real time on
that's
the
either
show,
still happening or that got
mind you,
settled out of
he
court.
claimed, for instance, that
I
lots
think.
of underage voters, dead people, and felons
'Cause he
had voted in
did, he
Georgia,
defamed
none of
them.
which is true. And he blamed
Well, the
voter
biggest problem that you're
changing
hitting,
results.
Chocobo, is even if something's going to happen,
Giuliani
it takes
problems in civil
months
court.
and years
But I
for
wanna
stuff
be
to
clear,
happen.
he's,
I
facing a
mean,
criminal
we are
investigation
approaching
with his
2023,
Georgia DA.
and we're
just
still
to remind you
going
about
over
what
January
options
6th,
Giuliani
which
has. He
was
thinks that he's
the
like
January
Donald
6th of
Trump, he can,
2021.
skirt
So it's been almost 2 years,
So let's go
and
to
let's call it a year and a half,
which features
and they're
Cameron
still in the
Johnson
process of
expert
like
Frank
doing all the
Finney.
investigation stuff. Like
His options
It's-
are not good.
it's
He
just a
claims
thing that-
attorney-client privilege, right? It's an
that
admission that Trump told him
justice, even if it's going to happen, it takes a long time to do. Enough time that people can forget about wanting it and not miss it when it doesn't come, and just assume it was never going to happen.
Number one. Number two, we could stay away from what Trump said to you.
Hey, I'm almost got enough for another truck and employee.
You did all by yourself with Georgia officials in an attempt to unlawfully overturn the Georgia election. We're focused on you. So it's really a no-win situation.
Well, obviously, the events of January 6th
He's going to
can't
have
just
to
be
plead,
ignored regardless of what you think about what happened.
or incriminate
Right.
himself.
But
And in researching the story,
The problem
I
is
talked to
that
numerous legal
it's
experts,
not
and they
being
seem to
ignored,
agree with one
and
another
it's
that,
taking
in-
forever
in America,
for
most
justice to
people,
come,
when you
like-
play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Play
So,
stupid games with
we're
stupid
about to
prizes.
see
I
what
said that the
stupid
other night.
prize Giuliani is gonna win for, serving as a crony to
Um,
Donald Trump, who doesn't respect our
like, I don't know.
democratic process
It's-
or the outcome of our presidential elections.
What I'd really like to hear out of it is that because of trying to pull an insurrection, Donald Trump can't run for president again. Because then things are really up in the air as far as the Republican primaries are concerned. Because nobody's going to win that primary except for Trump. It's going to be Trump, and he's going to be the next president unless something legally stops him from being the next. Like, he's going to be, what, the 54th and 56th president of the United States? I forget what Biden is right now. I think Biden's 55.
Why won't you prosecute the guy? He's a
No, wait,
good
no, I got that
guy.
backwards. 45.
And he just
Biden
walked
must be
away.
46.
So
So
Fulton County, they're like,
Trump will be
no,
47.
there's a thing called the
45
law.
and 47.
If you
I
come
think.
up with fake electors.
Damn, I
One
can't keep
him
track of
was
our
literally
presidents.
said, fake electors.
Right.
And you try to replace the real electors with them, that's in essence a coup. That is sedition. That is arguably treason.
A lot of individuals were
That
punished
is
for what happened, but
very
rationally
serious
thinking
crime.
person has to
They
know
were
it wouldn't have
actually
happened if not
they
for
were so
Trump.
mad that
Right.
Pence wouldn't participate. They nearly hung him. I mean, that's a real coup.
They
It's an actual
they
threat of
literally
murdering
were ready to
him.
turn around and go home as soon as Trump said on Twitter, "Okay, go home, go home." You know, as late as he said it, because they were just following what Dear Leader told them to say, told them to do. So yeah, you don't have to worry about talking with politics with me, Chocobo. I'm a progressive. I am not a Democrat. I am a progressive. In fact, I do not have a political affiliation. I used to say I was independent, and then I realized there was an independent party, and so I was like, now I say I'm lowercase I independent. But I'm a progressive, largely. So, everybody's at fault.
They are going to throw him.
It's just Republicans are more at fault than others.
Let me be a stand-up guy. Why don't I, fess up
Like,
what I've actually
you have to
done?
remember
I asked you.
that it's because of the Democrats and because of the corporate media that Trump became president in the first place.
Trump has even 1 ounce of
And it goes back further than that,
thinking
but they gave him free media. There are all kinds of records showing that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC backed like Trump in states monetarily and also with some ad revenues, propping him up because they thought he was going to be an easy victory to have, even though Hillary Clinton was in her own right a terrible candidate. Not even that into politics, but in 2020 a lot of people got dragged in, which is why more people voted than ever. Right. I mean,
Okay, you're right. Big announcement coming up in a little bit. Not
like,
yet. Okay, but in a little bit. Cool Stuff Future says these are all our wonderful members.
unfortunately,
Members are
a lot of those people showed up because of Bernie Sanders, and they showed up a lot in 2016 for the same reason.
truth to it.
But then Joe Biden hasn't delivered on anything that was in the DNC platform that got done.
Positive change. You guys are
And
all
we straight up need more people involved in politics, like it or not.
and watching TYT.
There's nothing more important in a democracy than an informed electorate.
Okay.
And people are misinformed.
Bandito.
Like, they got told, alright, Joe Biden is the candidate, and he's the only one who could possibly beat Trump. Bernie didn't help things by saying, I think either one of us could beat Trump, when Bernie should have said, I'm the only one who could beat Trump, even though, historically speaking, that is no longer true because Biden did. But, like, Biden's not going to beat Trump a second time. I don't believe that at all. Hello? 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 I'm glad there was no truck in this. Do I need to hit that rest area for an achievement? Crap. I might need to.
Right? And so we tell you about that all the time. The Democrats give you 1, Republicans take 3. The media pretends the Democrats gave you 10, and the Republicans gave you 5. Okay.
I will vote, but if Trump wins, I'm tuning out entirely. Well, you can't really tune out. You have to keep paying attention to how he's burning the country down, right? Or how he plans to not leave office. Like, you think he didn't? You think he wasn't going to leave office last time, and he tried not to. But when he can't legally run again, at the very least, they will repeal the amendment that prevents a president from running for more than one term. I believe that will happen. I'm writing it into my stories as part of the dystopian timeline. After Trump becomes president again, they will repeal the amendment that makes it so that a president can only serve for 2 terms or 10 years, and then he will run again in 2028. And if things work like other countries which have fallen apart, he'll keep being president. He only lives so long? Yeah. But you know what? If he had been any schmuck talking like him that wasn't in a position of power, he would have already been dead. Him and Joe Biden both. They would have died of COVID. Hold on. Can I hit this viewpoint? What's this viewpoint? Where's this viewpoint? There's a viewpoint right here.
Go straight on.
I'm going to regret everything I'm about to attempt.
Let's get right to it.
He's not Vince McMahon. No, I'm saying, but he got presidential level medical care.
To find a scapegoat.
Yes.
Okay?
And I
Let's
believe-
find a new route.
I believe that
He got presidential level medical care, and that's why he's alive. Same with Joe Biden.
That's Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen.
Oh my God.
Making a case that
I nicked it.
Trump
I
is
fucking
looking for
nicked it.
someone
This was
to
such a
throw
terrible
under the
idea. I
bus
never
to
should have.
make a
Can I
scapegoat
detach the
to
trailer?
essentially avoid any blame for the fact that he himself took
Time to
home
hit the road.
I've never tried to do that.
classified documents
I'm gonna
from
detach the
White
trailer and come
House
back
and
for it.
refused to hand them
Finding
over.
a-
Fortunately, I've seen better men than
And
Trump
that's what
pass away
got
from
me.
COVID in my personal
Now,
life.
who is
Well,
he looking
to be
blame?
fair,
Right.
Donald Trump
And
is
then
one of the
turns
worst
on
human
him.
beings who has ever lived. So to say that you've known better people who have died by
is
COVID,
going to be Rudy
yeah,
Giuliani.
you definitely
I
have.
believe that, you know,
If you've
everybody
seen
likes
anybody
to
die
argue
by
that
COVID,
Donald
they were
Trump
probably
is
better
likes
than
to
Donald
argue,
Trump.
And I believe that Rudy is like a BOGO. Buy one, get one half off. They're going to throw him under the bus for Mar-a-Lago.
Cohen. What's Cohen
and
talking
at
about?
the same time, they're going to throw him under the bus for Georgia, for the district
Like,
attorney Fannie Willis's case in Georgia.
only
They're
old
just
age can
pointing
kill
the
him at this
finger.
point.
It's Rudy. It's Rudy. Quite frankly.
And Joe Biden literally shouldn't be president right now because he's not mentally all there. We're kind of torturing an old man at this point.
Giuliani.
Trump is a fucking moron, but he's present, and Joe Biden isn't.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate the accent. However, you know, in the first clip that we showed you, the cold open, he
That didn't go as
talked about
planned.
How he was made the scapegoat, and how now Rudy Giuliani will be the scapegoat. I just want to make clear that random people don't get chosen out of nowhere to be Trump's scapegoats. Trump's lackeys.
So also
end
people
up
worse than Trump on the
becoming
horizon, like
scapegoats.
DeSantis?
So,
No,
just
I
wanna
would
mention
say
that because
DeSantis
I
is
feel
about
like there's
equally
this, "Woe
bad.
is me, I was such a victim" mentality here, and like.
The only trick is, are we
you
gonna
are the
get
victim,
somebody
boy.
who's
You know
going
that,
to
right? And neither is Rudy Giuliani.
Are we
Now,
gonna
we're
get
talking about
anybody
here because there's so many different
who is
investigations
going
on.
to
There's the January
do
6th
what Trump tried to
investigation.
do, but smarter?
Then there's the investigation
That's the
into
part we have to
classified
look out
documents that
for.
Trump took home. They're talking about the classified documents, and so Michael Cohen believes that Rudy Giuliani might be thrown under the bus in regard to that issue. I don't really know how.
Rerouting.
I think that there's another person that they've already begun.
I shouldn't be
throwing
doing
under the
any
bus
of what I'm
until
doing
this
right now.
moment. But
Right.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
And then
Yeah.
turn right.
So of course they need 1,000 excuses because the guy did something
Turn right.
criminally stupid. Both criminal in how stupid it is and a stupid action that is literally criminal. The nuclear secrets is the last thing you take home, not the first thing you take home. There's no reason to take them home at all unless you want to sell them.
Right.
Period. You could, the brain dead zombies. No, Memento. Oh no, he was working late after not being president anymore. Still wanted. No. There's only one reason you take them home.
Like,
Steal them.
I don't know.
Okay.
My understanding of
And
DeSantis
so
is he's not
there's a
demonstrably
couple
worse
people
than
who throw
Trump.
under the bus. One is the person who handed it to him.
He can't handle the
which is
crowds.
likely the chief of staff, which
Like,
we're gonna get to in a second.
Trump's
Okay. The
biggest,
other is that sheep
uh,
who's right next to you, who keeps
like,
getting his,
thing he was good at
the gnats. And
is that he is an idiot savant when it comes to reading a crowd and talking to a crowd. At least he used to be. Now he keeps harping on how he won the election and people are tired of hearing it, and he won't take the hint. But besides that,
Okay?
he's really good about A/B testing in a crowd, where you say this thing and that thing, the crowd responds to one thing, and then you beat up on that one thing more. Like, he's really good at that.
His, chief financial officer, the guy who
Like,
ran
no
the
joke.
books, They're basically letting him off the hook. He's gonna get a
That's how he
tiny
beat
little
up
prison sentence.
Marco Rubio on
Doesn't look
stage
like
in
he
the
Trump at
in
all.
the
Manhattan
Republican
Project
National
is the
Convention.
worst prosecutor in the country.
Or not
Should be
at the convention,
called
during the
being a
primary
complete
season.
utter loser. But here in Fulton County, they're doing a better job. So
Not that informed, but I think DeSantis was more religiously pandering. Whoops. Guess I shouldn't have been looking down while talking.
Destroying our democracy.
Alan Weisselberg
Was more into
is
religious pandering, if nothing else.
A tiny one.
Yeah.
Still, I
But
mean, wow,
he's not
doesn't-
religious.
No, it's nothing.
Not like
It's
Mike
that
Pence is
close.
religious.
times
Religious pandering is just something you do when you're a Republican. Like, you got to keep in mind,
the dumbest, worst
Trump
prosecutor
is
in the country.
an idiotic,
Okay.
powerful,
I mean, just calling
like,
them and the word
conspiracy
don't
theorist.
You're right. It's not fair.
But he's not faking. He's not faking that he believes Obama was born in another country.
Nobody's that incompetent.
He's not. He's not faking that he would, you know, bang his daughter if they weren't related. Like, he's not faking these terrible things that he does and says and believes. But most Republicans are. Most Republicans right now are saying what they're saying because it's what Trump, like,
He might reopen. He
Hold
might
on.
reopen. Why would he stop
Wait, hold on.
and then
You want me to
reopen?
get
It
off
makes no sense.
off the
Anyway,
network and go over here?
Okay. Anyway, so in terms of the documents here,
I've never done this before.
you know
Okay.
how easy it is
So I don't want to
to-
miss another way
They're
station.
Like, oh well, I mean, they could have just asked for him. They asked for him over and over and over and over again. The
Get ready
Mar-a-Lago
to
documents.
turn left.
And then, okay, so why don't you just turn them over? Oh, it's really complicated.
Marjorie
No, it's
Taylor
not.
Greene
They
is
could've
also
taken them.
faking?
You could have just taken them and
No,
Left.
but she won't get elected because she's a
You
woman.
had 'em hidden because you wanted
Like,
to
she
sell
wouldn't be
them.
president
Now
because
you
she's a
go
woman.
to the bus.
Now look, we've talked
Some
about
of them are
this
faking.
before,
Not
but
all of them are
go
faking.
over again
DeSantos
because it's
really
important to
seems like
understand
he's
how
pandering.
all of
Like
these
like you
powerful
do as a
men
quote-unquote
so
normal
many
politician.
chances, right? They
It's
broke the
something
law,
that
it's clear they broke the
online,
law, and
well,
in
not
this
just
case,
online, but that we
the
call,
DOJ reaches out and is like,
audience
"Can you just
capture.
give us back the documents
Right
that
now,
we know you have?"
Republican politicians are in a
And so
status
2
of
months
audience
prior to
capture.
the
What
raid,
audience capture
there was a
is when you
subpoena
don't quite
for
realize you
classified
sort of
documents.
cultivate, or
And Trump's
you don't do it on purpose because
responded
that's
with,
the whole
"We
point.
haven't given you all the documents. We
But
have
you
nothing
sort of
else."
like end up cultivating
And
or
then,
have
the
experience
FBI
with
informant
your
who
audience
goes to
being
Trump
a certain
campaign,
way,
who informed the FBI of the fact
and
that,
as you
no,
lean into them and try and
there's
keep
still
their
plenty of
approval,
documents here, many of
you
which are
change your
marked as
rhetoric, you
classified.
change your
And
dialogue,
so
you
the
change your
raid
way of
ends up
speaking. It's what happened
happening.
with Jimmy Dore
Okay,
in
and
the
raid doesn't just
progressive
happen on its
left.
own. The
That's why he's kind of
FBI or any law
that's why he's a
enforcement
right-wing
agency
nut
will
now.
decide
Is
without
because
a warrant
he beat
to
up
go
on
into
progressives
anyone's
or
home
beat up
unless
on
the warrant
Democrats.
the
People
president
really
signed
like
on
that. They
Mar-a-Lago.
didn't like it when he beat
So
up
a federal
on
judge
Republicans, so he
signs
stopped
off
beating
on
up
that
on
warrant
Republicans as
because
much.
there is probable
And
cause
what
that
ended
he
up
has
happening was he
reason
started
to
getting a
believe
right-wing
that Donald
audience.
Trump is breaking the law, and guess what? They do the raid and they
I don't believe anything
take
honest comes from
with them
DeSantis. Right, exactly.
nearly 24 boxes
Marjorie
of
Taylor
White
Greene
House
is like Donald
documents,
Trump in that she is
many of
honestly
which
an
are
idiot.
marked as classified.
But
Many
at
of
the
which
same
are
time,
so top secret
that
they can only be read in a
it's
government
she
facility,
won't
in a
become
safe,
elected president
secure
for the
environment.
Republican Party
So that is
because the
top.
Republican Party
And
is
Trump has
way
no
too
opportunity
misogynistic
supply
to
and give back
allow
the
a woman to be
documents that he
president.
illegally took home with him from the White House. Now,
So
Giuliani is
we don't have to worry about
saying
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
theory, right? Someone that
We don't have to worry
Trump
about
might
Sarah Palin.
throw under the bus when it comes to this particular investigation.
Get ready to
But there's
turn
already
right.
some rumors about.
What we do have to worry about
who
is
I think would actually
Pete Buttigieg.
play as a
Turn right.
better scapegoat for Trump here.
He's not-
And that's,
he's not a
former
great
Chief Staff
candidate,
Mark
but
Meadows. Okay, so
he's
this
got
is
the
an anti-Trump
Obama-isms.
what they found based on
Like how
some,
Obama was a fake
sources
Democrat,
close
or
to
not a
Trump
fake Democrat,
who,
but he was
gave
faking
them
it. He
the
was
inside
he was
info. According to
talking to
Trump,
an
who
audience.
analyzed the situation,
He was trying to get
Trump
himself
and his
elected.
chief of staff,
So
Mark
he said the
Meadows,
things that would get
the
himself
man who
elected,
oversaw
and he
presidential
got elected,
records
and then
in
he
chaotic
was,
closing
you know,
days of the
he wasn't
administration,
hoping change.
failed to
He
organize
was
an effort
just
to collect,
basically more of the same.
and deliver materials to the National
And that's
Archives.
where
Instead,
DeSantis is.
they
Same
only
kind of
focused
pandering.
on settling political grievances and personal grudges.
I'd
he said.
shift up and get higher
And
gear
in
right now,
the
but
weeks
apparently
leading
it's
up
still
to
15
Trump's
miles per hour
after
through
the White
here.
House, officials discussed what to do about material that he
Turn
had
left.
at various points taken up to the residence and that needed to be properly stored and returned. By then, the staff secretary.
That's what I'm saying, like,
Ryan,
both sides
known
are
for, trying
very
to
much at
keep
fault.
systems in place, had left the
The
administration.
Democrats
and
are
said he would address
bought
such
and paid
issues,
for
according to a
to lose their
senior
elections,
administration
to
official.
be spineless,
So it
to
has
get beat
begun.
up.
This is how it
But the
starts.
Republicans are bought and
So
paid for
begin
to
throw Mark
if you
Meadows
believe in
under the
evil,
bus.
mostly
And
be
you know what?
evil.
He deserves it. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. Hey, what are you idiots going to realize? He's
Oh,
never
we're back on the
run
highway, and
president.
it's time to get another
So why don't you
truck.
just tell people what you know about how incredibly corrupt he is. No, you're going to go to prison for him? All right. You do whatever you want. They're all a bunch of criminals. Anna's 100% right. You don't stumble into being Trump's fall guy. You're the fall guy because you were one of his captains and you helped him to commit all those criminal acts. And if you want to go to jail for it,
And
hey, it's just
recruitment
like the mob. That's
agency,
your goddamn
hire a
business, I
driver.
guess, if you're that stupid. I want to correct one quick thing I said. I think I said Attorney General. It's, of course, Manhattan District Attorney. And his name is Alvin Bragg. And he's the loser who refused to investigate.
And we keep
and
expanding our
indict Donald
empire.
Trump. You should know and shame the people who refuse to hold Trump accountable. And Alvin Bragg's at the top of that list.
And to be clear, that investigation, which
But
was,
we come back to the
initially
same kind of
criminal
basic problem,
investigation,
which
looked
is
into financial
since the
fraud that Trump
Democrats and
allegedly
Republicans
did.
each
So that is an
more or less
entirely
prop
different
up their candidates.
investigation.
Democrats
We're
more
talking
than
about
Republicans
documents
prop up their
from,
candidates.
the January 6th
We're not given.
investigation.
We're always
And
given a
Donald Trump
choice
famously
between
known,
two
such a
bad
good,
options.
kind spirit who's never
Like, Donald Trump compared to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is clearly the better person and would be better for the country. But on a grading scale that goes from negative 100 to positive 100, Trump may be tickling the negative 100, but Joe Biden is still like a negative 23. He's better than Trump. He's got a higher number than Trump, but like he's still a bad candidate. He's still a bad president. Is he better than Trump? Yes. Is he good? No. He's not good. He is one step away from shitting the bed in the morning. Like, he is not well.
Because they never indicted this son of a bitch. For all of his crimes, a half a dozen super clear crimes he has admitted on the record. Never, ever prosecuted. And then that's why he keeps breaking law after law. He's like, nuclear secrets, who wants some? Who wants some? And then they're like, oh, they're going after Trump again, as if he's the victim.
No,
Of the two old men, I'd rather be invited to Biden's house for dinner. Well, yeah. But of the three old men, I'd rather be invited to Bernie's.
Timeline is with these classified documents where he was given so many chances to.
You gotta keep in mind, Bernie almost won in 2016 and 2020. He was closer, I would say, in 2016 because he literally got 48% of the Democratic vote.
Right? I don't sit here and talk about
48-49.
issues or any other issue in the news.
But he still almost won in 2020. Like, that still happened.
I just don't get it. Like the need to like, oh, I read a few headlines here
And if he runs again, he might still win. I'm kind of hoping for Nina Turner. If not on the top of the ticket, then running mate.
Okay? Because there's actual evidence. If it was a setup,
Or even Marianne Williams. I'd vote for Marianne Williams.
and we look at the actual evidence, the exhibits, etc. There's a warrant that a judge signed off on, and then lo and behold, they did find 11 documents in Donald Trump's goddamn basement. He admits that they found the documents. I can go on and on and on. But it's
Hello,
not gonna get through
Papa.
the thick heads of Republicans. You know why? Because they like criminals. They just like criminals that are on their side. Look at what Giuliani said. He said, if Trump
All the
gets
hypocrisy
elected,
and
the
lies
thing he'll do is
still
break
haven't been
every
addressed,
law in
and it
his house.
infuriates
He
me
didn't say because Biden did
that...
anything illegal. He's
Okay,
saying, how
Chocobo
dare
is saying,
you
excuse me,
for breaking the law?
kind of
We're
going fast
a
on a straightaway here.
We're a
Dressed and infuriates me that people aren't held accountable. Right.
We're allowed to be criminals all
What happened to the laptop from hell? Which laptop?
standing ovation.
The laptop of Hillary Clinton's emails? Or the laptop from Hunter Biden?
We're not breaking the law.
Like,
It's already ours.
or some other laptop I don't know about. Oh, hello, helicopter in the air.
Rape and pillage and
What laptop are we talking about? Also, the video seems to have frozen. Hunter Biden's laptop with the kitty porn on it? I haven't heard about kitty porn on it, but I have heard about the kitty porn on I believe it was what's his name? Alex Jones's phone. Like, that happened. But again, I'm not going to defend Joe Biden or Hunter Biden. I don't know what's going on with the laptop, and there are more important things going on, but at the same time, nobody should be beyond accountability, especially in the government. And I'm not somebody who subscribes to the concept that... I'm sorry, I got to figure out what happened to this video. Actually, we're talking right now, so I'm gonna pause the news for a second here. It seems to have lagged out anyway. Okay, I'm gonna stop that for a second and put on the Muzaks as we are continuing to talk because we were talking. But I'll redo that in a second here. Let me... Oh my god, how long have I been playing in this view? Chocobo, why didn't you say anything that I'm playing in this view right now? Oh, good grief. 40 minutes in this view. Well, you know what? These things happen. That is completely ass. Damn, that sucks. Apologies to everybody watching the stream later or YouTube. Choco says Rudy insisted that he had the laptop from Hunter with a bunch of nasty stuff on it during the 2020 election and that he was going to reveal it to everybody. Tucker Carlson said he had a flash drive with evidence of Hunter Biden's guilt but refused to share it because Hunter Biden has been through enough. Oh. Well, I mean, neither of those two people tell the truth, so you can probably ignore that. But again, it's not like Hunter Biden isn't a product of nepotism anyway. I don't remember what his overseas job was, but he had a job that was basically assigned posts by like his dad and everything like that. And oh no, I just needed to stop for sleeping, and I didn't do it.
Okay,
Whoops.
Here we go.
Well, that's happening now. Like, everybody, Fox is part of the corporate media, so Fox is also all in the big lie. Like, they're all lying. Well, not, okay. They're all spinning, at the very least. Oftentimes they're lying. How much time I got left? 3 hours something? Yeah, I need to pull over. I should have pulled over where I just was. Like, I wish I had more to say. And, but, like, nobody's being held accountable for anything. Like, I mean, Joe Biden shouldn't have been elected because, like, he was the big proponent of the, like, the big crime act against the super predators and shit back in the 90s, like, or 80s, I forget. He was pushing that. Like, how is he going to be, like, he's got a clearly racist background. He's absolutely a conservative. And it's just so insulting to reality that he gets propped up as the big boogeyman of socialism when he's a conservative. Like, he's literally a conservative. He's a conservative Democrat, which is slightly more right-wing than some Democrats. And Democrats have managed to teach everybody that they can't do shit, even shit people want, even when they're in power, so why would you ever vote for them? Like, they have all three levels of the highest levels of government. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Yoink. They have the high... God damn it. What is happening? Everybody just go around it. It's a wreck. What am I looking at? I'm sorry. Oh, wait, what? Mr. Popo, couldn't you pull over more? Did I lose your chocobo? Do you want me to put the news back on? Pretty sure this was stage music for Bugs Bunny game. This is actually Conker's Bad Fur Day. Around the farm at the beginning of the game. I forget what it's called. But there's a lot of versions of it with music mix. There you go. Fucking squirrels. Squirrels have as many lives as they think they can get away with. Like, that's a game that I definitely own twice and have never finished once. So, sad times for me. I couldn't tell you why. It's a very interesting game. Used to really like that game, but it was the Xbox version. Yeah, it's weird that they kind of censored the Xbox version, but yeah, I have it on Rare Replay, so I have the backwards compatible version of the 360 version. Okay, I need to pull the hell over and sleep. Alright, little radio lady, tell me where I'm going.
Keep right.
Keeping right. This is the part with the bees. Conker's Bad Fur Day was one of the early examples of doing the audio mix as part of like the area you're around, so that certain melodies can drop in and out based on how close proximity you are to certain events or certain characters. And this music track I've got here is kind of like a medley of the one song where people keep dropping in and out.
Keep
Like
right.
I said, this is the part with the bees. I do need to add a few more tracks to this playlist, though, because it's kind of the same thing I had for like last year,
Get
and
ready to turn right.
I like a few more songs since last year. I'm still waiting on somebody to make a good remix of The Last Goodbye from Markiplier's thing, though. Oh, this is a
Turn
sharp-ass
right,
turn.
And then turn right.
Okay,
Turn right.
I guess I'll get some gas. Stuff like... Wow. The offense was bigger because I hit a cop, I think. Stuff like dishonesty, misinformation, and injustice really bugs me. Being exposed to politics definitely didn't make me happier person. Oh, no, no. Yeah. Like, getting exposed to politics just makes you angrier.
Finding a new route.
It's kind of like,
Impossible.
well,
Make
kind of like
do.
being an atheist. When you start realizing how much people do against other people because of their religion, like because of the beliefs that they have, it's kind of in the same ballpark of like, well, now you know, like now you are looking at it from a different perspective, and you're like, oh, wow, that's really fucked up. If Sky Daddy isn't real, like that just means people are being dicks for no reason. Not just misinformation, but blatant, transparent, intelligence insulting misinformation. Right. I agree completely. Can I get close to here and get the prompt for sleep rather than pulling into one of these parking spaces? That would be the best. There we go. Without getting close. We're going to get some rest on. Should have plenty of time to finish this trip. I seem to have lost Streamlabs. Where's Streamlabs? Oh, it's over on the wrong screen. Oh, because I had to fix the thing. Apologies again for, like, being in the tiny screen the whole time. For anybody who's watching later. Or anybody besides, I guess Chocobo didn't care. It was fine. But, you know. Okay. You know, because I missed a way station earlier that I
Recomputing.
didn't mean to, I guess, I'm going to hit this one.
Turn right. Never
Yeah, it's why
mind.
I get most
I'll
of my
find a new
news, for example, from progressive sources like Kyle Kalinske Show, TYT,
Turn right.
Irrational National, Breaking Points. Breaking Points is really good because the two hosts...
Okay.
Was
Let's
I not
find a
supposed to
new
go that
route.
way? Certified scales do not enter? Oh. So I took some damage for doing that. I took some damage for doing that too. We're just having a fun, magical trucking adventure.
Get ready to turn left.
Oh, I hit the sign that said trucks. I almost hit it
left.
again. Oh, checking that rearview mirror. Now let's get the roundabout out of here. Didn't realize the stream was supposed to look like this. Oh, well. There you go, Chocobo. Yeah, I use the other view so I can actually be on camera motioning at people and stuff, like when I'm saying my hellos and my goodbyes. But the thing is, okay, so little inside baseball situation. My normal start and stop recording button is assigned to numpad 0. And that allows me to basically reach over and tap it to begin or ending recording without actually switching over to Streamlabs.
Exit now.
Which is important because in American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, like many PC games, you can't really do stuff on the other windows easily when the game is the main focus. Like, I can't keep playing the game while the other screen is the focus. So, but also in American Truck Simulator, there's lots of things that are on the F keys, and Euro Truck Simulator, there's lots of stuff on the F keys that you, like, want to be able to switch to. And so, I have all those F keys rebound to all of the number pad numbers, which of course would conflict with me being able to press my normal buttons for being able to switch which viewpoint you're looking at and which and being able to start and stop videos. So those are now in these two games using Alt and pressing a different key. But the main problem persists where if I'm not actively looking over at the preview window or the version of the stream I have playing with the chat room, if I don't look all the way to the left and see it, then I'm not going to notice that I didn't quite press the button like I thought I did to switch the view cam. Chocobo says, I used to watch some TYT, but David Pakman was my favorite. You know what? David Pakman's a good guy. Yeah, David Pakman. Absolutely. All us progressive media peoples, we can all get along, get together, and be fine. Which is why most people don't get along with Jimmy Dore anymore, because he's right wing. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He found a way to make money in the industry, and it was to be a right wing nut job, pretending to be a left wing nut job. That's why he gets invited on Tucker Carlson. But yeah, David Pakman. I like David Pakman. David Pakman has a certain, like, I don't like it when Jank gets loud and starts yelling at the screen TYT all the time. Like, that can get very, okay, I'm not here for Angry Joe necessarily. But David Pakman has a certain, he's got that flavor of arrogance about him. He's not really arrogant, but like he's got this way of talking that sometimes turns me off. But otherwise, I tune in when he's doing live over the January 6th committee stuff, or when he was covering the impeachment hearings and things like that. Like, yeah, David Pakman's a good guy. I like David Pakman. I'm trying to think if there's anybody I immediately missed out on. I missed there was one guy on RT America, I can't remember the name of the programming. He was kind of, I'm gonna say Middle Eastern looking, and he had like curly black hair. But I can't remember the name of his show. Can't remember the name of his show, but I used to watch that until I'm pretty sure he got canceled. But you know, I got into politics the wrong way. I got into politics because I was tired of being wrong about things. Which, if you watch corporate media and you're a Democrat, you're going to be wrong about a lot of things. And if you're watching Fox News, getting purposely misinformed about stuff, you're going to be wrong about a lot of things. And one of the ways you can check about the wrongness is to listen to what people are actually saying, and if those things bear fruit, if they turn out to be true, you give them a little bit more credence. You can kind of be like, okay, that actually did happen, so they were right in their predictions, and therefore I can pay more attention to them because they are more right more often. Chocobo says, Tucker Carlson was actually my first exposure to political media. Was that on his current show? Or was that, what was it called? Hardball? And my immediate reaction was, is this normal for a news channel to host a guy like this? I mean, it's normal for Fox. I feel like the volume on this audio is a little soft for the music. Which of was it Tucker Carlson's? Wow, I just dropped to 37 FPS for a second. Was it Tucker Carlson's current program that you like? When did you get into politics? I would say I got into politics because I didn't think it was a big deal, the difference between Al Gore and George W. Bush. And I was wrong, because, man, if Al Gore had been president, shit would be different now. Not like hugely different, because he was still, you know, kind of a centrist, but I bet we would have done some shit about climate change if Al Gore had become president. Was it Tucker Carlson show? Yeah, and I immediately found him repulsive? Well, yeah. I mean, he's a white supremacist. He's pretty repulsive. The problem is, for a lot of people who watch his program, he has occasionally populist-sounding views. It's just that all his populism comes back to racism. He says things about giant corporations controlling the media, yada yada, blah blah blah. Okay, I'm with you. But then he'll say, it's because of their pandering to minorities, or it's because the corporations are doing stuff because it's cheaper to go for the free labor they're getting from all these illegal immigrants, or some shit. Like, he has a direction that he's going, which is the same kind of direction that Trump went. Like, Trump won largely because, even though he was lying about it, he was a populist in his rhetoric. He was about the people. And that's where Tucker Carlson gets his viewership from. He's about the people in his rhetoric. But then he'll spin being about the people into lying about the reasons the people are getting fucked over. Or misconstruing the reasons, spinning the reasons why people are getting fucked over. It's pretty disgusting. Let's be honest, it's pretty disgusting. Like, the thing is, you know what? Hey, back to the DeSantis thing. Tucker Carlson is one of those people who doesn't really believe what he's saying. Tucker Carlson is well documented by people who know him personally, people who have to deal with him on a daily basis. He is literally saying the things that he's saying because he wants the popularity in the show and all the viewership and the money that comes with it, and not necessarily because he believes it. So that actually makes him worse, right? He's not some horrible right-wing nut who's just a terrible person and he has a show. He's a terrible right-wing nut who is only saying things that he wants his audience to hear so that he can have a more popular show, but he doesn't actually believe those things. And that's super fucked up. That's more fucked up than regular fucked up. Uh-oh, people are slowing down through these curves. I don't appreciate it. Don't appreciate it at all. Come on, dude, you're slowing down so much that I can almost read the name off of the back of your truck. In fact, I think it says Namio. I'm sorry, that said what ahead? Keep left? That sign actually said something different, the digital one I just drove under. Oh, paragraph. I'm glad there's a straightaway. Chocobo says, I'm one of those people who were freshly enlightened in 2020, maybe a bit earlier. Vehicle wait station? Where's the wait station? Is the wait station up ahead? Please give me my mini-map back. Oh, it's on the left. 35 into here. Okay. Maybe a bit earlier. I forget if it was Black Lives Matter or COVID or whatever. I learned a lot in a short period of time. And did more arguing about the YouTube comment section than I can proudly admit to. Wow. I don't know that I've almost never said anything in any YouTube comment section. But I hear where you're coming from. Yeah, like, I mean, let's be real. Like, painting Black Lives Matter as terrorist organization or something like that. Or how are you going to say that being anti-fascist is a bad thing. Like, what in your head makes it okay, in your mind, that being Antifa, inherently, that there's something wrong with that? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's like the first time I ever got when people throw around words sometimes, woke and otherwise, the old school one for getting called a name online was being an SJW. And I'm bad with acronyms. I didn't know what the fuck that was. And then when somebody said it's a social justice warrior, I'm staring at them like, why would it be a bad thing to be a warrior for social justice? Like, can you explain what is wrong with being a warrior for social justice? And it's basically what they've turned woke into being. And then you got the double problem of you get people on the left who, in order to talk with or about conservatives, they have to use the conservative rhetoric. So we get conversations about fucking wokeness or critical race theory or other whatever bullshit thing that the right wing has decided it's going to have a bug up its butt about, even if it's completely not relevant to the given conversation. It's all about distraction. It's all about misdirection, about getting you to get mad about shit that doesn't matter, so that all the shit that does matter can keep getting worse. I mean, let's be real. Okay, hold on, wait. You said... Chocobo says, that was my kind of initial reaction to seeing the word SJW as well. I can't imagine a person having a different reaction. Well, people get designed to have a different reaction. But, yeah. Like, but again, SJW, why would it be bad? On its face, in a vacuum, just the terminology, why would it be bad to be a social justice warrior? And the same kind of thing for Antifa. Once somebody explains to you what Antifa is short for, being anti-fascist, if you have any concept of what it is to be fascist, why would anyone just be against Antifa? Why would you be against anti-fascism? It's about throwing labels on people and putting them into categories, because same kind of deal with, like, you can't they've branded being forcing women to not have autonomy so that they have to give birth to babies they either that are not viable or that they don't want, and it's early enough to do something about. Like, they've branded themselves as being pro-life, but then they're in favor of the death penalty, or they're in favor of needless wars for oil to send troops to their death. Like, how does your rhetoric go with being pro-life? Well, it doesn't. It's just about labeling yourself something positive. Choco says, I kind of had the same reaction to virtual signaling as well, but I can see that can be bad, term used irresponsibly. Well, the thing is, okay, virtue signaling is very specifically, like, virtue signaling is kind of always a bad thing, because virtue signaling is about specifically using virtue or the appearance of virtue as a means of saying, and therefore my position is good. Or to say that, because a lot of people use what they want people to see of themselves as a means of saying, and obviously if I want a thing, because of the virtue I have, because of this aspect of myself, that makes it okay. Like let's, current politics, Kamala Harris? Wait, I forgot her name for a second. Kamala Harris, she's not gonna be good on the Black Lives Matter issue because she was in law enforcement, therefore Kamala Harris is a cop. Like, Pete Buttigieg is not going to make a big stand about having equal rights for gay people because he's not more gay than he is being a corporate Democrat. Chocobo says, is kneeling at a football game or whatever virtue signaling in a bad way, though? That's not virtue signaling. Okay, first of all, to be clear, if we're talking about Colin Kaepernick kneeling in a sign of defiance against the way the government is needlessly killing innocent black people, and he even went through the effort of double checking with veterans and stuff to make sure that he wasn't going to be like offending them for kneeling because of their patriotism or offending the country, and they were like, yeah, go ahead, it's fine. No, that's like the least you could do, be a symbol as somebody who has a position of prominence in as a celebrity.
Yeah.
That's something you can do, go ahead and do it. And then he did it. Republicans would say otherwise. Yeah, but Republicans are wrong. Like from what I understand of what virtual bypass the nearby way station, have a safe journey. Okay. And it's because the term virtual signaling was first exposed to me in a sports event I was confused as why it was a bad thing. Right. Okay. So virtue signaling is generally always a bad thing, but what you just described isn't virtue
And then
signaling.
exit right.
Uh-oh, what's happening?
Exit right.
Alright, hold on. That exit is shut down. Oh, we're past an hour on the recording. How did that happen? Wait, that's my exit! Well, shit. I've got a little bit more trip left in me.
Keep left.
So I take the next exit? So I take the next exit. Trying to get a little bit more reasonable chops in these video timetables. By the way, just throwing it out there, a couple of
Keep
things.
right, and then
One,
exit right.
Colin Kaepernick had like a Netflix series about his experiences with racism growing up. That's on
Exit
Netflix, and it was pretty good. And what is it we were just talking about? Before that? No, there was something else I was going to recommend also, but it slipped my mind. In case you haven't seen it, it was pretty good, and it's not that many episodes. And I don't expect it to be like a seasonal thing. I think it was like a one and done, like limited miniseries type situation, and it's over now.
Go straight on.
Please do not get hung on the sign. Alright, knocking the sign over is fine. Did Joe Biden at least make things better for trans people at all? To the best of my understanding, he hasn't done shit for trans people. He hasn't done shit for people in poverty or those of the darker skin persuasion. He hasn't done anything for gay rights.
Keep right. And then turn.
He's allowed bad shit to happen to women. So, no.
Turn right.
Nothing I can think of that he's done to mine and other people's benefits. I mean, he didn't run on anything for us, so it's not like... So he was never going to do anything for us, so... Like, it's not like he hasn't lived up to his promises in that regard. He never said he was going to do anything. Chocobo says, to my memory, despite not having a platform against trans people, Trump actively made things worse for them in prisons, the workplace, and even military things. Yeah, I think he did something with the military. Most, I guess I'll just say most presidents don't think about us unless they're virtue signaling. Like, Democrats try to get elected on virtue signaling. They try and get elected on we're not a republic. Like Joe Biden. Joe Biden got elected because he was not Donald Trump. He didn't get elected because he was going to do anything. He didn't have any policy positions that anyone reasonable believed he was going to follow through with that would be good for other people. He got elected because he was not Donald Trump. Which is, like, the essence of being virtue signaling, to my understanding. His virtue of not being as bad as Donald Trump was your reason to vote for him. And,
Keep left.
I don't
and
make
then
this
turn
publicly known very much because it sets a lot of people off, but you seem cool, Chocobo, so I'm going to say it.
Turn left.
In the state of South Carolina, we are a Republican state, so no matter what I ever would have done, uh-oh, I might not make this red light. I was in the wrong... I didn't make the red light. 1 second, you also said something. Said I would have voted for Biden purely because he wasn't doing political rallies in the middle of a pandemic. Chocobo, he... Okay, whoa. I have to stop you right there. You have to stop. We're going to pause that, come to that thought in a second. Alright. Joe Biden lost each primary before he won South Carolina. My state of South Carolina. And he won the state of South Carolina because, well, he's a conservative, and of the Democrats on the ballot, he was the most conservative. So it doesn't even make sense for him to change the tide of the election by winning South Carolina because he's a conservative Democrat winning in a conservative state. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, right before Super Tuesday, but after South Carolina, Joe Biden was propped up by the Democratic National Convention, and the DNC said, no, we're in too much danger from Bernie. So everybody get together behind Joe Biden. People didn't like Joe Biden. They wanted to be president too, but the DNC got them all in line, and they got them all to fall in line behind Joe Biden, and they're propped up with the corporate media saying that Joe Biden was going to be the next candidate, that everybody else was dropping out and endorsing Joe Biden. They all got behind him, and that put a lot of force and weight in his presence. But also, Joe Biden said publicly that he wanted people to go out to the physical primaries and vote, and not to delay the primaries because we were beginning a worldwide pandemic. And that is when Bernie Sanders said, "Okay, look, I think Joe Biden has a decent chance of winning this. I'm gonna drop to the side." Bernie Sanders dropped out in 2020 specifically, not 2016, but in 2020 he dropped out because Joe Biden wanted everybody to show up at primaries, congregate in big groups, and put their lives at danger. And so, no, I'm sorry, but fuck Joe Biden on that one. That was very clear that he wanted the primary season to go on and for people to vote in person in the primaries, and he did not care about their safety at the beginning of a worldwide pandemic when Bernie did, and that's part of the reason Bernie dropped back out. Like, that's part of the reason that happened. I'm hung on something. I failed to make a right-hand turn. That's embarrassing. I was waiting to hit that car. I was like, I'm gonna hit that car. Huh, weird. I got only... Nope, there's the other fun. Well, this was a fun trip.
Get ready.
I
Turn right.
don't mean to be, like, super in your face about it, but...
Turn right.
Like, I hope it didn't come off too aggressive there, Chocobo, but that is one of those things that upsets me that... Like... He wasn't doing political rallies in the middle of the pandemic. He wasn't doing political rallies because Bernie Sanders conceded already, and he didn't need to. But he was going to have political rallies, and he was going to have a whole thing with it if Bernie hadn't been dropped out. Probably haven't before paying attention, but it seems less criminal than frequent political rallies. Well, right, but what I just said. Where am I going with this? He didn't have any political rallies he needed to run because Bernie Sanders had already given up. Well, not given up. I guess that's the wrong... Well, yeah. Conceding is to give up. So, if you're going to give anybody credit for Biden not having political rallies, I'm saying it should be Bernie, because Bernie is the reason he would have kept doing political rallies if Bernie had not dropped out early. Oh my god, what's not straight this time? I don't know how to work articulated trailers. If I can't get it on the first try, I can't get it. Okay, we're gonna loop around and try this again. Because we got enough space to do this. We're going to go all the way to the back. We're going to come forward. Hopefully this will be good enough. Got it. Achievement progress, I thought they should be heavy 1 of 9. Time for big hauling achievement? Okay, hold on. Time for big hauling. Oh. What did we just... all-terrain crane. Okay, so I did the all-terrain crane. And what was time for big hauling? Oh wait, what was the other one? What did I just say? Oh no. Wait, Steam, what are you saying? Time for big hauling. First delivery of heavy cargo. Wow, that sucks that is the only time that counted. Alright. Chocobo says... but there is a narrative that Trump clearly won the election because people showed up to his rallies when Biden drew crickets, but literally that was one of my biggest reasons for not voting for him. Okay. So, for the sake of continuity. Okay. Trump drew big crowds at the rallies. But he also told people not to vote by mail-in ballot. And he also said, let's be honest, a good number of Republicans have died because of Trump. Not to mention he at this point has killed almost 250,000 of Americans. So, him drawing big crowds to rallies, I get that as part of the narrative. But he greatly discouraged his own voters from doing mail-in ballots. So when everything went exactly like it was going to go, which was Trump was going to be no matter what happened, whether he won or lost, Trump was going to be showing as winning during the day or 2 or 3 after the election. That was clear. That was clear for months. But the question was, when all the mail-in votes got finished counting, was Joe Biden actually going to edge out a victory? And he ended up getting it. But it's because Joe Biden, Bernie, the DNC, they all kept encouraging people to do mail-in votes. And yeah, you're right, he didn't do rallies and have a whole bunch of names and like, yeah, it's part of the whole Trump mythos, but at the same time, Trump basically dug his own grave on that aspect by making it so that nobody voted for him in mail-in voting. So he had only ground to lose. Oh, hey, wait. I leveled up. Oh, wait, I think there's no voting because it's only fragile cargo left. Because fuel economy isn't really a vote thing. Alright, for anybody who's watching later on YouTube, I want to thank you for watching. This has been American Truck Simulator, presented by Improvision Entertainment. I've been Hunter Munn, and hopefully at the next recording session, I will remember to drop it out of this big camera view next time. So, see you in the future.